What's going on, guys? This is Sir Clarence with Ultra Black News, and today we had the honor and privilege of interviewing Akeel Henry. Akeel, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So again, normally how I kick off my shows is with the intro. So are you ready for yours?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this brother is a U.S. Gold certified and Juno Award nominated music producer. This brother has been making his name in the music industry, working with illustrious artists such as Tony Braxton, Jeremiah, Ty Dolla $ign, Shawn Mendes, Sway Lee, Daniel Caesar, and then also trained under Noah 40 Shabib of OVO Sounds, a co-owned label that's co-owned by Drake, This brother is also currently signed to the R&B legendary Babyface at the record label of Face. So this brother is also a music producer, audio engineer, and also a musical prodigy. Akeel, welcome. All right. So again, is there anything that I need to add to your intro?
I guess it said Juno nominated. I'm Juno Award winning. So
that's what I'm talking about. So Juno Award winning. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So for the audience that's watching, can you share about your journey from where you started into how where you at now?
Well, I started producing when I was like 9 years old. Nothing serious, just kind of making beats because I just wanted to create. I started getting my foot in the door and I started working with a producer named Diesel.
Okay.
Had a bunch of big songs. His biggest one probably recently, Pick Up Your Feelings by Jasmine Sullivan. He produced that one. So I came up with that guy and we just worked and we just got a bunch of major label placements and some movie stuff and TV show stuff and a bunch of stuff together. And then that's kind of how I got my foot in the door.
Awesome. And so, you say you started off in your youth. How was that for you? Were your parents hey, mom, I like this, and they saw you tinkering with things, and how did you kind of get introduced through that avenue, if that makes sense?
Well, I was never actually fully serious about music as a career. I was so into sports back then. I was a baseball player, then track, then basketball. So it didn't really get serious until I was 16, 17 years old. And then when I was about to graduate high school, I told my parents that I'm going into this music industry thing. I went to school for it as well. Like I had to. There was no way I was going to. But my dad is a pastor, so he wasn't necessarily thrilled about the industry. You can understand. So, but eventually, after stuff started really working out and stuff, then he was definitely more optimistic.
That's awesome. And the reason why, I asked that is just because, it's a lot of young kids that are out there that may be interested in in certain things. And, like you said, it got to a point to where you was like, all right, this is what I wanted to do. And then you start getting serious about it. And so I want parents and stuff out there to identify that within their kids as well, to where, they can nurture something that's within them and, further grow and everything. And so let me, how did gospel play, with your dad being a preacher, how did that play a part into your journey as well, too?
Everything, man. I got my foot in working with Diesel, as I said, but I was his keys guy. I was his keys producer. So when we were working on some R&B stuff or whatever, where he needed some real instrumentation, I'm the guy that he would call for that. And I played keys in church since I was like 6 years old. As a pastor of a small church, you got to be able to play an instrument. So
yes,
so I've just been playing piano since I was young, and I'd say I just piano, and then I also play bass at church. And it's all the music I get about were just from the church mainly. So yeah.
So let me ask you this. So whenever you say you play, right? Did you learn by doing the lessons and reading notes, or did you learn by ear?
Both. So I did lessons by notes when I was younger. Honestly, I kind of unlearned all of that. I don't really remember that. I stopped that about 12, 13 years old. That's from like 6 to 12, 13. And then after that, And in the meanwhile, I was also still playing in church. And then after that, I started like just focusing on playing by ear. I hear things I want to play. The books that they had me reading from, it's not songs I would actually listen to. So I wasn't really as interested in those as the songs I just wanted to learn, be able to play right away. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then, you touched on, going to school as well to learn music and what did that look like? You know what I mean?
I did a 1-year program, audio production engineering at a school called Metalworks. It's a private school in Toronto. It was good. I really learned a lot of the technical side. A lot of the creative side I kind of already had, to be honest. But it really elevated my sound with understanding all of the technical and so now it's just made me added engineer to my arsenal. So now I've like recorded artists like Mary J. Blige and a few other people like as an engineer, not even as a producer. So that just added another. Yeah.
Wow. And the reason why I asked is just because, we live in this world, at least that I know of, where it's always this battle between investing in your education for a trade or versus like the career thing, and just really understanding how it can be beneficial for you. You know what I'm saying? If you're learning something that can open doors for you along the way, especially with the more technical aspect of things. And, just understanding how crucial that, education is. So let me ask you this. In terms of, your US Gold certified record, what did that feel like, hearing that you achieved that accomplishment?
It was big, but it was also, it's the only one I have right now, but it's also like, cool, happy I got that. I'm trying to hit double platinum. Like, these are the goals. I'm trying to get a Grammy. So it's definitely checked off the list, but it was a very short celebration. Just back to work, to be honest with you.
And you know what, bro? I really like that too, that you touched on. It's almost along the lines of being an athlete as well. I used to run track back in the days, and one of my biggest goals was to make national. Well, my first goal was to go D1. So I ended up going D1, and then I ended up running. And then my next goal was I wanted to run the nationals and stuff, after I checked off that list. And the reason why I brought that up is, from a musical aspect, having those goals and, those goals can fuel you to reach your highest potential just by you setting them and being disciplined.
Yeah.
And so let me ask you this. What was it like, in terms of, putting together your records and engineering, from someone that doesn't know about music, they only love the sound. What does a day look like for you, if that makes sense?
Every day I make a song, 5-6 days a week, sometimes 7, which I don't like that anymore. I like to have something a day, at least but yeah, every day we just come in, I start the music side of things, the writers start writing, and then we record it, we produce around. We just try to kind of finish a song a day. So it generally looks at least 8 hours. Well, it actually depends on the writer, because some writers are very quick, but the average day is around 8 hours. So if we finish the first song in 4, we'll probably make another one.
Yeah.
And we just that's it. That's literally my day. And then if I'm in with the artist, it's I guess pretty much the same thing, but now we have a specific direction that we have to follow through. With the songwriter, I'm just making a song and we shoot whatever it sounds like in the end, we shoot towards that type of artist when we're pitching.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so, touching on, winning the Junos, man, what was that like for you in terms of that, that feeling, that experience and all that?
That was fun because I won with my friends. Super talented, close friend. And I remember when we worked on that, it was like a family feeling. It was so family feeling. We rented a nice big studio in Toronto, and we locked in for a week just to finish the project. And we just, it was just whatever you hear, put it in there. Just make this sound great. And we had that energy around creating it. And then it worked, and we won a Juno off of it. And it just validates that the hard work pays off,
Yes, yes, that's awesome, man. And in terms of like, producing music as well, how do you, all right, how do you balance switching styles with different artists, and even producing, like making a beat or instrumental or something like that? How do you stay true to your creativity, but then also kind of you kind of have to have like a feel of who that person is that you're creating for as well.
I feel like the more you do it, the easier it is to switch up. I pride myself in being able to do everything, honestly. Like I don't want there to be a genre of music that I can't touch. So I like the challenge of an artist coming in and they have this whole new sound that I've never tapped into. I'll be able to like listen to and pick out the most important elements of that sound and kind of start creating around that. Like figure, okay, these are the tones, these are the sounds, like the tones I need. These are the grooves I need to have. And now I'm making my own within all of that. So just once you find the most important element in the sound, in hip hop it might be the drums. In country it's the guitars, whatever it is. You gotta, if I can focus on that, get that to sound authentic, everything else I'll be able to figure out.
Awesome. And so let me ask you this, for individuals that's like looking to get into the music industry, as a producer, and say they live in like a smaller town and stuff like that. And usually there's some challenges in terms of opportunities per se. What advice or tips would you give to them?
Two pieces of advice. One, use the internet like crazy.
Yeah.
Two, move to a better town.
Simple as that.
It's hard. It's easier said than done, but like, man, it's easier in some cities than it is in others, man. It is. So instead of using this excuse and saying, oh man, I can't do because I'm not, just go there, come to LA. Like if you can't move here at first, come here for 3 months, like lock in, save up money from your day job. If LA is too expensive, do Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like just figure out somewhere that is hot and get their network there, because it
Okay, can you hear me?
Cool.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, so in Toronto, Toronto's still on the come up, right?
Yeah.
But it's not Toronto's not what LA is or what Atlanta is yet. I feel like it's getting there, but it's not there yet. So it took me longer than it would have taken me, I feel, if I was in LA, which I am now. And stuff is moving so fast. And it's just like it makes sense because that's where everybody lives. All the artists live in LA. All the songwriters live in LA. All the other producers live in LA, and even the ones that don't visit here a lot. So you just get access to so many people rather than staying in your random town. I don't like. I don't know. It's just not gonna be helpful, especially if you're like me, where you work best in the room. I don't really work the best doing Zoom online sessions, all that stuff. Like I hate that stuff. Yeah.
And that makes sense too, man, because I did acting for a while. I was in a couple of big projects. So that the Atlanta show with Donald Glover, and I was in Watchmen, and then I was also in the Bobby DeBar story. And one of the biggest things that I did was by going to these different things, and just going to different cities, like you said, and getting out from where I was originally. And even though I'm in Tampa now, it's fairly big, but it's in terms of like creative opportunities and stuff like that for like either film or also music, it's kind of limited. And so whenever I went to Atlanta, I was able to make so many big connections and stuff like that, and production companies.
And the craziest thing is, you'll never know what you're missing out on until you get there. I remember when I got out here, a couple months into me being here, somebody, like the amount of events I've been introduced to or been invited to, I wouldn't even have known they were going on if I was in Toronto. I wouldn't be like, it's that event. It just like these private little events, dinners with like major A-list celebrities that like I wouldn't have been invited to because people wouldn't have thought of me because I wasn't here. And like that is it's so important, man. It's so important.
Yes, man. I'm glad that you mentioned that too, because that's what I'm trying to challenge a lot of people from back with my hometown. So my hometown is called Marianna, Florida. and it's right outside of Tallahassee. So it's like 40 minutes away. So I'm like telling all them like, hey, if you want to act, go to Atlanta. If you want to do something, go to, because it's closer. And so I'm glad that you touched on that. So let me ask you, your younger you, what advice would you give yourself to you?
Easy. Just make music I like. Stop making music that I think other people will like. Because I used to make music that I wasn't really a fan of back in the day. But I'm like, this is the sound that people want. And then now I'm making stuff that I like within the sound that people want, and they love it too. Man, I could have been way richer than that.
Hey, look, I like that too. It kind of brings me to like a phase, like I back when I was in corporate America, I used to have this boss. She used to say, when you do what you love, people will follow. And I've always kept that motto in my head. And it's like you said, doing what you love, you would have been in a whole different space than where you are right now.
Which now that I'm doing it, it's elevating crazy. Like, it's been amazing. Yeah.
So let me ask you this. What was that moment for you when you was like, I'm here? What was that? What was that moment, for you?
I don't know. I don't think like that. I don't really feel like I'm here. I'm still working towards my goals. I guess there's a few moments of validation. 1, the gold plaque. 2, the Juno. 3, being signed to Babyface. Like, really working with him and like understanding that I'm at that level where I can work with somebody so legendary and like hold my own.
Yes.
All of that is great, but until I have all these plaques he has on his wall, I don't feel like I'm there yet. Even though I'm in a good place, man. I've been living off of music full time for like 5 years now, so it's been great.
That is awesome, man.
Like, it's time to, like, I just wanted to keep going. I'm not going to be satisfied until I hit like some more of those goals.
Yeah. So what would you say are your goals if you had to look at your short-term goals versus your long-term goals? What's your milestones? And the reason why I'm asking you, because I'm gonna be checking in on you and making sure, like, hey,
I'm gonna hit these. I want a Grammy nomination, in the next 2 or 3 years.
Let's get it.
I don't get the next 2 or 3 years, I'm not happy. I want a top 10 song in the next 5 years. I think it'll be sooner, but I'm giving myself the time that it might take to figure that out. But top 10 Billboard, and not just for like a day, or for a week, but for an extended period of time. Those are the main goals. Artist goals are Beyonce and Justin Bieber. Those are the 2 people. And not even, it's annoying because it's when you look at their magnitude, it's like, oh, I get why, but it's not about that. I've just been a fan of them so long. Yeah, like I would love to be a part of anything, even if it was just a video they made that didn't make any money, that I just had to do some audio for or whatever. I mean, I'd still get paid for it, but didn't like recoup any money, whatever. Yeah. I just want to be able to say I worked with those 2 just because of my respect for their art. But
hey, look, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was for me. Like, when I told you I did the Atlanta series, just working with Donald Glover, man. I was talking about, it was like a surreal moment for me, man. It's like, I have my professional side, but at the same time, it's just like, these are people that I looked up to, in terms of creativity. This dude, he does music, he does film, he does all these different things. And, for me, that's who I was like, man, that's what I want to be like, man. And so I know
I still be watching Community, man.
yes, man. And it just, it's inspirational too, man, because, at the same time, like you said, you want to have them plaques on the wall, just like Babyface, you know what I'm saying? And so, you in a time of your life where you growing, you under great people too. So that way you can build that catalog and get to where you want to be. And then at the same time, like this video, any of the interviews that you do, that's inspiring the next generation that's behind you. Exactly. And so So let me ask you this: how's your dad been since you've been on your journey now? You know, as you say, it was rough
Honestly,
there.
my dad's been pretty supportive ever since it's so funny. Right after I graduated Metalworks, I was with 40 pretty soon, shortly after, probably a month and a half, 2 months after.
Yeah.
And Drake is obviously like the king of Toronto. Even if you don't listen to his music, because my dad doesn't, he knows who Drake is. He knows his. And when he knew I was working with somebody literally at the top of that empire, like I'm with 40, and 40 is literally the co-founder of OVO with Drake.
Yes.
It's just like, okay, you're gonna do this, because I've also a lot of family, to be honest, that has tried music and has had some success, but not the most. So my dad didn't want to see me go necessarily down a path that I didn't really make much money and everything. So that was right after, literally 2 months after graduating, him seeing that, it's like, okay, you're gonna do this, you're serious, you're gonna work hard enough, you're gonna go get things. So I'm cool with this. And since then, he's been very supportive with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So let me ask you this. Now, I know you touched on sports and stuff. I have it here that you like playing ball, and you know the Raptors. That's your team. So how you still hoop?
Man, I'm definitely trash. But I mean, like, I got a shot, but that's it, man. I'm out of shape. I used to have a little bit of defense, but now it's definitely gone because I'm too tired to play defense after the first minutes. But I love watching basketball, man. I'm watching every single game. I'm sneaking away just to watch the last game if I'm in a session. Like I love basketball. I'm super happy last night at Chris Paul getting to the finals, because that deserves that more than anything, man.
That was nice.
Yeah. I'm just always watching ball. But the Raptors are definitely not doing anything crazy right now. But we got our ring, so I'm chilling for a while. I'm comfortable.
Yeah. So let me ask you this. I have here you open up a recording studio as well in Toronto.
I used to run one. That's when I started being full time. I was just running a studio. I had random clients coming in independent. I actually closed that down now. I'm working out of Babyface's studio now in LA. So that's awesome. Kind of my
So whenever you were running it, for those that are interested in starting studios as well, what advice would you give them, in that process?
Know how good you really are. Because when I started, because I started so young, I didn't realize how much better I was than some of the other studios out there. And I started charging so little because I just want to be competitive. So hard. If you're charging too little, you're not going to make any money. And then I raised my price, and people still stayed, and it was good. And I never really ran advertisements. People would just show people their songs, like, yo, who did that song? And it was me. And then gradually, I just ended up having a client base that became pretty big. I had to let them all down when I said I'm out. Not all of them. I still work with some of them for sure. But for the most part, I had to or can just continue raising my price until they couldn't afford it, honestly. But that's what it is, man. Just being good, putting effort into everything. Don't because you don't love one artist and you don't think they're that great, not make their stuff sound as good as you can, because somebody else is going to hear theirs and be like, or somebody that maybe has worked with them is going to be like, how do they get you sound like that? Like, and then they call you and they might be better, and like just you'll end up meeting better people if your work is good. So don't do half jobs. I don't do half jobs at all. Small, medium, big, at all. Yeah.
And I like that, what you mentioned about that too, just knowing your worth and your value and stuff like that. Just because there's a lot of people out there that are they're great at what they do, but some people don't value them as they should, and
I mean, and you set your own value, right? Because and it's so funny that we're talking about this. I was talking to one of my homies, Hagler, the other day, crazy producer, and we were talking about it, and he doesn't even remember this, but a few years ago, he had a cousin that passed away, and my father was the pastor for that. And then I remember my dad told me he had a short conversation with him. And back then I was charging $30 an hour to record. That's when I just started the studio. And Hagler doesn't even remember this, but my dad told him like, oh yeah, my son does music too. Like, he's really good. And Hagler's like, how much does he charge? My dad's like, oh, he charges 30 an hour. He's like, oh, he's probably not that good. But I say to my dad, Hagler does not care at all. And it's so funny because now we're working like crazy. Like I have a session with him today. But like people will look at you based on your price and see what you're worth. And like even Looney, not to go too long on this one, but even Looney, the artist that I'm developing that's really going right now, getting amazing numbers, millions of streams a month. When she came to me, I raised my price at that point when I was recording to $65 an hour to record, and then like hundreds of dollars more to produce. And she actually came to me because she was tired of all of these $30 studios. She's like, man, I need something good, that's professional, that knows what they're doing, that can get the job done the way I need it done. And she probably wouldn't have come to me if I was another one of those $30 studios, you know? So there is something in raising your value. Now I'm a lot higher than that even, but it's great to set your rate based on your skill set, and people will come, like better people will come to fit your skill set. Because I put 30 an hour, man, no disrespect to some of the people. Some are good, but a lot of them were like, ugh, you know?
Look, trust me, I already know because it's like, you know, we like, you know, we like our haircuts and stuff like that. And then when you go to a barbershop, you know what I'm saying? Some people, they be like, oh man, how much you call it? Oh, $20 for a cut versus, you know, you get you a quality one. So, you know, some of your haircuts gonna start off at like 50 or $80 or something.
The other day, 2 days ago, I spent $100 on a cut. I said, Lord, where are these barbers going nowadays? You know? $100 for a cut? Man, bro. Not even plus tip. Damn, we had tip. But like, it's true though, because like, man,
you paying for quality.
Paying for quality, man. When I'm in Toronto, my boy is just as good as these $100 guys. Free cuts. So when I'm out here and I'm paying for cuts so much, I'm like, killing me.
Yes, man. So hey, let me ask you this. You know, for the audience that's watching, is there anything that you would like to leave them with?
That's a good question that I don't have an answer to. Check out my Instagram at akeel.music, AKEEL.music. And
what's going on, guys? This is Sir Clarence with Ultra Black News, where we aim to highlight all things good in the Black community. So if you're new to our channel, make sure that you hit that like button, make sure that you subscribe, and then make sure that you share this with friends and family members. Make sure to tag them in the post as well if this is great content that you enjoy and that you believe that they will enjoy as well.